The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Wednesday, the 18th day of May 2022. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Linda's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sancha Durham, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring the latest in her news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sancha, happy
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, I haven't seen you guys all week.
Yeah. You go missing like that. Yeah, no, but we're happy to have you.
Jamal, can we talk about this background? What's going on there? You missing Bermuda?
Yeah, I felt like being on the
I
water.
like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I need to get on board because I have this great thing going on. I need some sunshine. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what says good morning like a background like this, right? Sunrise in Bermuda, right? Yeah. But, I'm going to pick on you in a few. Sancha was irresponsible this weekend. We'll get into that in a second. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Kelvin Blackendell of the Bermuda Cricket Board to the show. The Daily Play is music, so Sancha's going to be guessing some very popular lyrics from a very popular artist and a very popular song.
And who says he's popular? You? He's popular to you?
You'll figure it out. You'll understand why I said popular. Easy. Don't think too much on it, Sanch. Don't think too much on it. See, you still haven't got your Daily Hour mug.
No, we'll get there.
But no, Sancha, you had quite a weekend. Did you participate in the Relay for Life and CLJP?
Such a weekend. Like Maddox and I rocked out this weekend. We had so much fun. So what did I do this weekend? We did Relay for Life, and it was just kind of on a whim. I knew I wanted to go to Relay for Life, but I hadn't signed up. So on Friday night, Maddox was kind of like, it was like, what are we doing? So we popped up to Relay for Life, and it was amazing. Yeah. The energy was good. The people you could tell that everybody was ready for it to be back. And we had missed it because I think we hadn't had it for 2 years in person.
Right.
And people were ready for the occasion. It was so much fun. So they had the ceremony where you turn the lights down and put the, I don't know what they're called. Can somebody tell me the lunar bed?
Oh, I don't know about that part. I've not.
Anyway, it was awesome. So we had like a moment of silence, and it was great. It was great. So then that prompted us to go again on the Saturday. I was a little disappointed on the Saturday because it ended early. So by the time we got there and people were still arriving, ready to walk their laps and give to charity, it was over because we were going to CLGP. Didn't get to CLGP on Saturday, but we did do CLGP on Sunday, which was great.
Well, I want to go back because I was actually supposed to attend the Relay for Life for the first time in honor of my mom, but the COVID had different ideas. But I really was looking forward to attending. And I guess a question for the audience before we get into today's discussion is, what can we learn from the return of Relay for Life in person? Like, what's so different about an event like that in person versus doing it online? I remember, my mom, we were doing it online for a year or two, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, I think that, like I said, it creates a sense of community, and you get to hear people's stories. You get to when you're dealing with someone battling with cancer, family member, yourself, it's always sometimes you feel like you're in it alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're actually able to connect with someone that's going through the same things as you, or for you yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going through something like that and you're connecting with someone that actually survived, and you see that hope, you see that it's just all around. I think it was an amazing, community event. And I hope that next year we do the full 24 hours. I want to give a shout out to Streaker. They were there cycling. Streaker cycled for so long on Friday and Saturday. It was cool. So even with that, I went there so I could do an hour of spinning. And by the time I got there, it was done. And I was like, oh, I
You, you mean like Dwayne Streak Adams or like a
Dwayne Streaker Adams.
oh
You didn't
oh
know? Yes,
you
Streaker.
know when I see people saying streak and like the cycling thing, I always think like, is it the organization or is it actual streaker like the
Yeah, he's a really good spin instructor. Really
okay.
good. Yeah.
Well, Sancha,
They fun.
I said I'm gonna call you out. So Sancha became the topic of Magic's list.
I'm too shamed.
She became the topic of Magic's list, and I'm getting news reporters in Bermuda hitting me up saying, "Hey, just want to bring this to your attention. Thank you, all the folks up at BBC." But yeah, they didn't want to go on TV with it, right? But can you find a way to get her attention? Someone's found her phone and they sent me the Magic's list, and I don't go to Magic's list unless I'm looking for entertainment. And that's rare. That type of entertainment's rare. But Sancha misplaced her phone, and you did find it, right?
So listen, Maddox and I went to CLGP, and we were just caught in the moment. The energy was great. The music was going. Jamal, I had to send you a picture of Maddox and I dancing. Like, we had a blast. And then, of course, I don't drink, but Maddox wanted a fruit punch. And for Maddox, this is a big thing. Big thing. And he got him a fruit punch. And I remember going to the bar, and I remember us talking in the group because I was teasing Phil about having the backpack and being media.
Yep.
The last thing I said, and I must have rested my phone down on the bar, and that was it. I'm not used to being at a bar, folks. I get all excited, put my phone down, and when I tell you I'm still hearing about this, I have messages saying you need to be more responsible. But you know what? I got to a point where I was looking for it, and then it got to a point where I was just like, it's a phone, whatever. I was fine with not having.
Probably had, stress free. You didn't have to worry about the 100 texts I send you on weekends. And Cher's laughing at you, by the way. I mean, this your road dog you ride with. This is like your Somerset like, why is she laughing at you? She should be saying, "Oh no, Sancho, I'm sorry to have you."
Understand? We get it. Live in the moment. That's what was happening. I was living in the moment, and the phone it was just like, whatever. If I find it, I find it. If I don't, but I appreciate everyone that reached out and got my phone back to me. I got home. My mom was like, Sancha, where's your phone? I felt like I was 16 again.
See, there's lessons in this, folks, honestly. And the lesson is like what she just said. I want to emphasize living in the moment. Like, I'm a person who had trouble doing that. Now, I mean, honestly, unless it's for music purposes, I would leave my phone many places. When I'm driving, sometimes I feel like I'm really bad. I already have my phone on silent, so I miss calls anyway. But I remember Phil saying a few years ago, it was a concert, and maybe a bit of Buju one. When one of his first concerts, when he got out there, and Phil was like, yo, like everybody's in the phone. How are they even enjoying the concert? Like, they got the phones taking this and that. So I appreciate that, Sandra. Let's get to today's discussion, though. Today's discussion is about red flags. Red flags. So the question of the morning, folks, is, here we go. What are some red flags you look for in a job advert? So let's just go. It's an article on businessinsider.com. And it says the title is Job Postings Can Reveal Signs of Trouble Ahead with a Potential Employer or Role. Experts break down the red flags that candidates should look for in jobs. Now, the first one is omitting information about pay. One of the most important aspects when considering a job is compensation, says the article. It goes on to speak about looking for vague compensation language. They should be able to give you a range. Now, we'll talk about all of this. The next one was going overboard with must-haves. a laundry list, according to this article. It's a huge red flag. Huge red flag when it's just overboard, this, that, and the other, right? And then the third one is possible signs of burnout culture or a lack of support. What do they mean by this? They're saying that a company that says they have a work hard, play hard attitude, for example, can often be an indication of burnout culture. And we can share this article to our social media if need be. But what are your thoughts? What are some red flags that you individually look for in a job advert? What are some of the things you look for? I'll go first, right?
Okay.
I honestly am so not used to seeing the pay that it never bothered me really.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It never bothered me. I always, it's like a resume. I've taught myself to believe, whether this is true or not, that a resume is not what gets you a job. It's what's supposed to get you the conversation that leads to the job, right? That's how I look at it. So for me, I think resumes are misleading, right? So I expect the same of job adverts. But I do understand why people would say it's a red flag, Sancha, because why waste my time getting me into a space if you know that I'm worth $90,000 and this job only pays 45. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So I understand why it can be a red flag to people. Language is important in a job advert. Burnout culture. Now let's use language. I think most job adverts are used to weed out who they don't want, right? And I'm okay with that. But where it gets interesting is, and I'll use Bermuda in this respect. You know full well that no one who outside of your company, if someone's never worked for your organization, then the chances are they've never used a certain database, right? And if that's the case, then that's a red flag. Why waste your time applying for something that's basically telling you need to have expertise in Sencha database, knowing that Sencha database is only used for Sencha and Co. Like that, I think red flag things like that are red flags and will probably turn me off saying, I'm not going to apply for this job. I'm not going to waste my time going for this because they've already told me that I need this. No, keep in mind, many jobs that I've gotten, I haven't met 75% of what's in the job thing. Like I haven't had certain qualifications or haven't had a degree in a specific thing or haven't had, I'll use Florida Panthers. That's the easiest. I had no background in working in professional sports, right? But I was able to show how I was able to succeed in other spaces in media and tourism. So, that kind of got me into that space. So there's many things. Now, we have to make decisions as humans, though, Sancha, whether or not we think it's worth our time to ignore those red flags or ignore certain things in the job advert and still go for it. But I think job adverts traditionally are written for specific people in mind.
Okay. That was a mouthful, Jamal.
Uh-oh.
So
Here comes the boss.
So from where I sit, I think this is an interesting topic, and I'm hoping that the audience does let us know what they feel the red flags are, because this is a learning experience for me, right? Of course, I'm writing job descriptions. Of course, I'm hiring people. I'm interviewing. I'm doing all of those things. And it'll be interesting to see what is considered as a red flag for people so I can do better. But where it pertains to the salary aspect of it, no, I don't openly put out what a salary is because sometimes I don't want the wrong people applying. And then also I don't want to, so it's happened to me in the past, whereas I know that this was not my budget. Like I can say now, the receptionist that I have now at Nail Bar, what she wanted wasn't in my budget, but I really liked her. I thought that she was awesome for the role. I think she's doing an amazing job. And, I basically found more money in my budget. So what if I would have put it out there, this is how much I'm paying, she never applied, and then I would have never had her. So I think it's two ways of looking at it. I don't think it's hiding anything, but I also think that it's a way for you to negotiate what it is that you want. If they're not willing, they're not willing. You move on. And I think that certain job, you kind of know what the pay scale should be.
Mhm.
Yeah. If you're in a certain industry, you know what you should be paid within your industry. And if somebody is lowballing that, I don't think it really needs to be said 100%. Am I wrong in that?
Well, yeah, and in the US, you have places like Indeed and Indeed.com, which you can go on there and see what the salary is for your specific state or city, industry, and position, right down to position. So you're not wrong. I mean, we should know. So when we go in there, we should. I think that pretty much sums it up, Sanchez. It relates to
Yeah.
compensation. We
Yeah.
should know what the salary range is going to be for this position based on
Exactly.
our own research without
Yeah.
them telling. However,
Uh-huh.
however, while I may not be in favor of the actual salary,
Mm-hmm.
I think that if it's public, not private, if
Uh-huh.
it's public, if it's a publicly funded position, I
Mhm.
do believe the range of something
Should
should
be,
be
yeah.
should
I
be public. But
I
private companies, I'm iffy on it, and I'm iffy on it because I think a lot of people run to this space, Senja. They run
Mhm.
to this space when it comes to private companies as if people are paying black people less or women less. Sometimes it's really just to protect the privacy of each individual. I mean,
Yeah. I totally agree.
yeah. Let's
And
go to a comment.
okay.
Sean Smith.
Open-ended descriptions, i.e., not limited to, is a red flag for me.
Mm. So, what do you mean open-ended descriptions? You mean something like
So,
and maybe asked to do more
yeah,
things?
and not listing what the more is.
What are your
It
thoughts on that?
I don't know. I come from a different background, right? And obviously, I'm coming from a small business, and that when I work with people and I get that it's not in my job description, it makes me cringe.
Really?
It makes me cringe because I feel like I don't think that management or company or business should go overboard with the request, but there
Hmm.
is going to be a request occasionally that is not in your job description. But also there is going to be requests at some point that really I shouldn't be saying yes to. But I'm going to give it to you because I feel like there's a give and take mentality. Now, if we're going to walk this line and say, listen, there's no like, this is it, I think it just becomes difficult, you know? But then I know what you're gonna say. I think you're gonna say that line can be very blurry, like, it can get very messy,
And
right?
and that's it. Like it
Yeah.
can be blurry, but I again with the entrepreneur head on, I completely understand what you mean, Sense. I get it. Like it, I get it. I can't say I don't get it. Sam Cat Play says, you said it, Jamal. It's the laundry list for those jobs that are not rocket science. I shake my head at some of these employers because most times they want the workers who they can exploit in a certain sector. And that's true. We're not here to protect bad employers. But, I want to let's just go back to it, Sanchez. So there's been
Mhm,
businessinsider.com article, um,
mhm,
just going away from the compensation a bit, but going beyond the job post. And I think that's what Sean Smith was focusing on. How can we how can we better protect both the company and employers? And it seems like Bermudians don't have much red flags. So I think the unions have done a great job in Bermuda of making sure that the job descriptions are written perfectly. Not many people in here have many red flags, but how can we fix it up to make sure that everyone feels protected? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are some things to eliminate those red flags? I'm very careful and cautious when it
like
comes
I
to.
said, I need the audience to tell me.
She needs
Let
help. She
I need help, folks.
she needs
Let's
to
know
make
what
sure
the
she's
red
treating
flags
people
are
good.
so I can make sure I'm not putting those red flags. I
She,
I want everyone to feel safe. I want to be a great employer. Help me out.
how
What are
far,
the red
folks?
flags?
Well, I've got Sam. She says, spot on, Sasha. I think that's censure she means, but give and take, give and take. She knows who she meant, but no, I get you, and I would love to hear from the audience on this, because at the end of the day, I know Bermudians look at job adverts all the time and complain like, "Oh, this is not for a Bermudian," or "This is for a non-Bermudian." Like
One
all
that
the
I
time.
hear, like, this job description was written because you know that they want to get a foreigner, or they want to
Right.
worker, and which I get, and sometimes I think that is true. But if we're referring to small business, I would much rather hire in Bermuda. Do you know how much a work permit costs? Do you know how much that flight costs? Do you know what you're risking? You don't even know this person. You don't know
Right.
their work ethic. I would much rather hire in Bermuda.
Mhm.
For bigger companies, I get it. They have someone in mind, and maybe you feel like this description is being written specifically
Mhm.
for who they want to hire. And yes, they do like nitpick and write things that that no one in Bermuda is going to have.
Mhm.
But I think this is where we challenge, right?
Mhm.
The immigration is always saying, "Are you training? Are you?" So I think it's one of those times where as you go into that interview and it's like, "No, I don't have this, but I am willing to train." Are
Yeah.
you willing to train? Because you want to work for a company that is going to enhance you. You
Yeah.
want to work with a company that's going to help you grow. And it's not just what they can, you can give to them. What are they willing to give to you as well?
Yeah.
I say challenge it. If you know that you don't have, training in this program, that shouldn't stop you from applying for that job.
Mhm.
Go and challenge them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, folks, a lot of the jobs I've had, I had no like experience in industry or whatnot. But I will say I do read job adverts a lot on Indeed.com. I go on there, and I'm fascinated by the language that they do use, and
Mhm.
and I think Sam Cat Play said it. Like, they make it seem like some of these jobs it's rocket science, and it's like, no, this job is not this difficult. Like I've been in positions where they make it seem like this and that, and then you're
Yeah.
like, this is, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see what Maya thinks. See what some red flags are to Maya. Um, she's much younger than you, Sancha, not me, so per se. But she's a bit younger, so she may have a
And
different perspective. Let's see.
Maya and I are in the same age range in my mind.
more than Maya, she tried to age you. That's what I'm gonna say.
Morning, morning. I
Hi,
don't even know anyone's age on this show, and I'm going to keep it that way in my mind.
Yeah. Keep it that way. Yeah, that's the
Wait,
safe
so
route
how
today.
does you on your head?
That's the safe way. That's the safe way. So, what are your thoughts? What are some red flags that you might pick up when you look at a job ad?
I was listening to this conversation, and I can honestly say, because I've never really like dove through Bermuda boards or even read a couple of job like ads, I'm just like, I don't even know what I would consider to be a red flag. I just know if I was to see something personally for me, it might be, again, like the community was saying, an over exaggerated list of things that you need to have. I won't even read it all. I remember
Mm,
when I was doing Bermuda scholarships online, sometimes looking at that, I was just like, this is 2 pages of things that you need me to do to apply. I'm just like, is it worth it here? Or like, how much money are you trying to get? Like, like you got to look into that separate stuff too. And just like, it'll be way too much. If it's too much, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do something that's
yeah.
already hurting me just from reading it.
Well, you know what she just said that's interesting. She took it, and I'm glad you brought up scholarships, because it's not just jobs. But interestingly enough, if you go on Indeed.com, you will start to see lists of complaints about applying for jobs now, because the things that these companies have you doing just to apply for a position that, in truth, if it's one position and 100 people applying, your chances of getting it is what, 1%, right? So the things that you have to go through, you literally have to spend an hour or two to apply for a job on Indeed right now. Like, again, I know Bermuda doesn't do Indeed, but it takes so much. And people say, well, that's because companies want to weed out people and they want to take people who are serious about the position. No, you could be missing out on somebody very important that
Mhm.
once they see this, they're like, oh, heck no, I'm not into this. I want to just read these comments. This is another red flag from Teresa and Marie. She says, must be willing to work long hours, including weekends, must have 10 years experience. Well, young people, entry level job, and they want 5 years. I was waiting on someone in the audience. Honestly, Maya, I thought that's what you would say, years experience. That's the biggest complaint I see in Bermuda. The years of experience, red flag. Like, now,
Yes.
again, Every job I've done, they've asked for years of experience in this space. I didn't have it. I still went and I got it. But I want to touch on the including weekends and long hours. The reason I pick up on this right now is because what has every company been doing as of late? Acting like they're family friendly and not into burnout. But then you see that, folks. I know I break the rules. I know I break the rules. But I really do try to leave you all alone on weekends. I really do. I really do. It's your time. But there's something about a company that puts out weekends and not saying it's shift work, but must be available. So let's say you're working in tourism.
Yeah. I was just going to say it depends on what sector you're working in.
Yes. If you're working in tourism or even in the medical field, right? In media, Maya, there's a news story that comes. You might have to break it. But if you're working in a company that's usually 9 to 5, and then something comes up where they need people on the weekend because they're doing a charity thing that they're sponsoring, I think it's a bit unfair and unfortunate to get your person who doesn't work in that marketing space or a sponsorship space to expect them to work when they have families. They could be doing scrambling or whatever else Maddox does. You get me? So
listen, you put Maddox in that equation because you knew I was coming back for you, right?
Yeah. Look, I had to do what Eminem did, Maya. Like Eminem put it out there before they can come back and go at him, right? That's how he wants
to. Those instances, I don't think that it should happen on a regular basis. But if you're in crunch and it's like, oh man, we don't have anybody, I don't see where it's bad thing to ask. Now it's okay, and that's another thing. I think employers need to be okay with your employee not being able to do it, so that when you're asking if you can, they feel comfortable. If they really can, they can't do it.
Yeah.
But this is one of those instances where I say it's that give and take. So yes, if you're going to come and work the charity event, even though you're not in the marketing department, just know that when you want to take that holiday, when it's not time, when you should be taking holiday, that I'm going to be a little more flexible with that because it's that give and take. So don't put Maddox in there. My mind hasn't changed.
Maya, take Maddox out of there, Maya. Take Maddox out of there. You ready for the news break, Maya?
Ready for the news break.
All right, over to you.
Thank you, Jamal. Thank you, Shanta. And thank you, everyone who is tuned in with us today. I'm Maya Palacio, and this is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Do you care about food, the cost, and where it comes from? Well, so do the students at the Barclay Institute. Inspired by Social Justice Bermuda's food insecurity discussion, the students, along with the assistance of teacher Diamond Otterbridge, will be launching a website that showcases all available food resources locally. The website will be live before June and hopes to be a useful community tool of information. Full story to follow closer to the launch. If you are listening in, please listen well. There is a missing person that needs to be found. Yesterday, police sent out a missing persons report to locate 52-year-old Jason LeBird. He was last seen on Rambling Lane, Pembroke, on Monday, the 16th of May. He is described as dark-skinned, 5 foot 5 inches tall, and black hair with a close cut. If you know something, say something. Call 211 or 295-0011. Here's something you may have missed in sports, but you probably saw the video yesterday on Bermemes. In April, 6 Bermudians competed in the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation Pan American Championship in Orlando, bringing home 1 bronze and 3 gold medals. In the video on Bermemes, you see Rice Lima Trott competing and winning her gold medal for the white belt super heavyweight adult division. And how good are you at jumping rope? On May 1st, Ajani Robinson, student at MSA, competed in the 2022 Ohio Open and won first place in the single rope individual freestyle. And next in the news, the Bermuda Road Safety Council started their Road Safety Week on Monday with an outdoor event at City Hall and will be posting safety tips for the remainder of the week. And also, you might want to stay on your device a bit longer after the show. At 11 a.m. this morning, the Honorable Minister Tanae Furbert will be live at a press conference discussing the Intellectual Disabilities National Plan. And now let's take a look at today's weather. It's not looking any better than yesterday, to be honest, folks, but I'm sure we will be grateful for the tank rain. It's a fair start to the day as it is pretty sunny right now, but it will become cloudier with a couple of showers in the afternoon. Winds will be moving in moderately from the west, and we have a high today of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. That's all for me. I'm Maya Palacio for the Daily Hour News Break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Now back to Jamal and Shanta for today's Daily Focus.
Sancha.
Did Maya just call me Shanta?
Right,
we're gonna ignore that, Sancha.
We'll edit that out.
It'll never happen again.
That means that we need to spend some time together. So
Clearly.
Validate that nail bar coming up. But no, I want to go back. So hold on. You said tank rain, and it just got me thinking. I have never come across a group of people who love rain, like the nature, the presence of rain, the way Bermudians do. I honestly, like, I don't think I've ever maybe people in like California where it gets dry, but Bermudians really love rain. They do.
I don't know. That's because you're not paying for that water truck to pull up.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in England, and it didn't matter what the weather was, people were outside, walking, going to events. It didn't matter. Bermudians, if it rains, I'm not going to work.
I know. Honestly, I am this person. I do not like rain. Like, I despise rain to the point where it's when I used to live in New York, I wouldn't mind snow. But if it rained, I was like, hi, could we just reschedule that meeting? I know it sounds crazy. I wouldn't do that now, but I can't do rain. I don't like it.
But I think like folks be like, oh yeah, that tank rain. Like, I mean, I know costs are going up around, but it's like, yo,
really? So that's a big deal. When you run out of water, that's a headache.
How much is a little water in Bermuda, you guys know?
What is it? 90, 100? Yeah.
I remember when I lived with my sister and my mom, I think it was like 150 when we got a tank of water. We all put in 50. So
I think everybody now is, well, some people.
Guys, I hate to cut this short, but we do have a guest. We're about 5 minutes behind. Maya, have a wonderful day. We'll see you again soon. All right. We got Cal Blackendal. Oops, I'm so sorry. Cal Blackendal, the president from the Bermuda Cricket Board, coming up. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Back in 1995, a pair of entrepreneurs working in their garage with essential oils began to realize the potential of organically produced body care products. Now, in a 56,000 square foot facility, EO products are shipping to millions worldwide, an inspiration to aspiring family businesses to be sure. EO products were the first in their field to follow the quality and safety guidelines established for organic foods in their production of high-end organic body care products. This month we're featuring EO Lemon Coconut Lotion. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field. Number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Big Show. Sancha Dorm, not Shanta. I'm Jamal.
I am Sancha Dorm.
Brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed on our website so you don't miss a chance for updates, promotions, prizes, and more. Also, if you go on and you can't watch online, you can also download the BCG Radio app, available for both Android and Apple devices, and you can listen to us every single live episode. All right, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got Kelvin Blackendell, and he is from the Bermuda Cricket Board. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jamal. Good morning, Sancha. How's everybody doing?
Good morning, Cal. How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, Sancho, you don't have to spend time with Cal. He said Sancho, not Shanta, but oh, that's gonna be a running joke. That's gonna be a running joke. But hey, thank you for doing this, Cal. It's been I'm gonna put you on the spot because we've been trying to get you on for a while. We share a mutual team, at least one, in Manchester United. I'm not saying that too loud. We don't need too many people hearing that. But I look at you as a person who is I'm gonna say not appreciated as much as we should, who has in football, known for football, but in cricket, trying to bring the same success that you've been able to leverage in football. But there's some things going on in cricket, and I think most Bermudians, I'm thinking most Bermudians know that cricket exists more than just cup match. However, cricket season seems to have been delayed because fields not being ready has been reported. But what's really going on? What's the story behind in cricket season? Why aren't the fields ready?
Yeah, so good morning to everyone. Glad to know that people are interested in cricket beyond cup match because, the domestic leagues provides the players with the opportunity to prepare for our biggest occasion on the island. Also, internationally, when we look at tourists coming in based on the diaspora and cultural significance of emancipation. But Jamal, the main thing is with COVID-19 for the last 2 years, with sports being delayed and various competitions not being started traditionally when they would normally have taken place, the cycle between the two major sports in Bermuda, football and cricket, sharing the majority of the grounds as host venues for the players and spectators, just any delay means that one of those windows are going to be shortened. And as we know, when you come out of the football season and transition into cricket, it's delayed because it's not as easy as cutting the grass and laying out the dimensions. You actually have to reel the wicket, where the players play in the middle and where all the bowling and batting takes place. What everybody wants to come and see, either a wicket being taken or 6 runs being hit to the boundary. And that is an expertise issue and also a timeline issue where it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get that done. And of course, if some of those teams have a very successful season in the football calendar, such as my team this time, Jamal, I got one over US and Star Sports Club. Dennytown, almost a triple crown. Even though we played away from him, a team like Devonshire, which actually won the friendship, they would have extended their training sessions at their ground. And every week their training season in football is extended, and competition dates means that the groundsman for cricket has to then move his schedule back 1 or 2 weeks to get to the middle of the pitch and reel the wicket. So success actually causes a delay. So it's something like a feel-good factor, having that chocolate cake and then saying, it's essential trying to go to a wedding and putting that beautiful wedding dress. It's going to happen, but you need to go to the gym maybe 2 or 3 weeks longer before you say, hey, I'm definitely going to be out there walking down the aisle. So it's a love-hate relationship, but we both win in the end.
Indeed. But again, I don't know the relationship or how it works with the National Sports Center, and then you have certain fields, and I think Baylor's Bay comes to mind, where it's only used for cricket. What football done with the referee shortage, they had, instead of having every game Sunday, they changed, maybe Friday through Tuesday night, right? Is the other opportunities? Obviously cricket's a longer game, so you can't necessarily have a Friday game and a Monday game and even night games, right? But were there opportunities to rotate field? Was this something that was discussed or considered, or even using National Sports Center as a venue? Were these things considered?
Yeah, so it's a few things. Everything's considered, nothing's off the table. So using the National Sports Center at the moment is not feasible. The Sports Center, as you have said, is a sports center which actually facilitates all sports in Bermuda that wish to use that facility. It's not a football ground, it's not a rugby ground, it's not a cricket ground. But what the general public doesn't know, that the center pitch at the sports center, which we play cricket on, the wicket, is not feasible or conducive to match play at this moment. That was identified maybe a few years ago, but the funding from both sides, whether it's the Bermuda Cricket Board or the government, which provides the annual supplement to the National Sports Center to actually maintain and upgrade the facilities, is not there in this timeline with COVID-19 and many other challenges and economic bills we have to pay both at the Bermuda Cricket Board and Bermuda government. So we are working together to try to see, just as Sancha said about her budget for when she had a receptionist, we are now looking to see where we can find those extra dollars, because we know we need that facility, but it's not as easy as saying we're going to do it today to tomorrow. It's a significant investment that we make. Even when we make that investment, we have to be honest, just because the facility is up to par it doesn't mean we can actually use it, because a Relay for Life would say that weekend's out because we're going to set up the tents, we're going to be there. So it's not a cricket facility that we can use. It's like having a car that you buy, but you can't drive it because you have to share it with everyone in your family, even though you made that payment.
Indeed. I hadn't looked at it like that. And that's why you're the expert in this. Let's talk about the pandemic. Obviously, cricket has been very different over the last 2 years. Very different. How has the pandemic impacted the growth of the sport in Bermuda?
The pandemic has actually been what we call here in the office, my favorite line, a perfect storm. With me, again, my good friend and colleague, Mr. Stephen Douglas, who is also the president of the Eastern Counties Cricket Association, and our cricket chairman for local domestic cricket league competition in the Man. It had made us all look and reflect on how much we appreciate the sport, what we have been doing over many years. Cricket, very traditional, little bit of a dinosaur. We do the same thing every year. And then also, how could we get the approval from government to even get persons to come and play, the safety mechanism for the players, and actually make it more exciting. So as you spoke about Stanford T20, that's what we went with, because it would have been multiple matches at one field, pure excitement, short matches coming in, getting out, persons being able to watch 1 or 2 games at their choice at one ground, reducing the spread of COVID-19 of having 6 or 7 venues to maintain on a health and safety mechanism, but more importantly, revenue. So getting more persons, bums in the seat at one location, clubs can hire security. Also know that there's going to be, instead of 20 persons, 150 paying $10, food and beverage stations at their site. So it actually made us attract new individuals, but also the older persons who actually were a little bit skeptical about it. Can I come out? They can come out for a short period of time just to watch their grandson, son, or family members for 2 or 3 hours and go back home into a safe environment. So it actually has helped us to bring some new persons to the game when there was nothing else to do in the island outdoors, because many other organizations were restricted from holding events.
Okay, and Mr. Blankendal was just referencing, folks, for those of you who don't know, there were conversations had between my colleagues and I backstage prior, so that's why he was saying T20.
I knew nothing. I knew nothing. Jamal explained to me. I said, I just started watching cricket. I want to say, now, do I have this right? They had like the World Cup cricket in Bermuda, like qualifying 2 years ago.
So we had the ICC. We are part of the International Cricket Council, which is short for ICC. There are different regions. We are part of the ICC Americas region, which is 16 countries. And this will probably surprise Jamal. Imagine Argentina, Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica playing cricket. They're known for football or basketball or baseball. And then in our region, we do play 50-over cricket, which we could simply say is 50 overs, one-day internationals, and we also play T20. In our region, T20 is probably a little bit more feasible, less costly for a smaller nation to participate in. But Bermuda has gone to a World Cup in 50 overs back in 2007, did fantastic just by qualifying. Also in 2009 or 8 for the under-19s. But we've gradually come into the T20 shorter format, which is a little bit more lucrative for players and also franchises, because they get larger sponsorship for having multiple matches. Back to Sancha, there's World Cups in different formats, so it's in T20 and 50 overs. We went in the 50 over format, but the last competition we held in Bermuda, we actually qualified for a sub-regional qualifier by coming second in our region to try to qualify for the T20 World Cup. We didn't qualify out of the sub-regional qualifier, where simply said, you play in your group, and once you come out of the ICC Americas, you end up playing the best of the rest from Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. And then we didn't make it to the next round. And we're going to try to get there again with some qualifiers at T20 in next year, the first quarter between January to March. But before that, we are actually going to be leaving Bermuda in the next 2 weeks to go to Uganda in 50 over competition, which is another tournament. So there are many tournaments inside of ICC, but this is a global sub-tournament. So this the second best of the rest. And we're in that now, going to play Kenya, Uganda, Kenya, Uganda, Italy, I believe, Hong Kong, and a few others. I may have the teams rearranged, but we're going to be playing that from June the 15th to the 28th. We're looking to leave on June the 9th. When we come back, which will be around July the 1st, the players will play in the domestic league. They will play cup match, which everyone wants to see. So the players should be quite ready for an exciting domestic event. and then they would be leaving hopefully inside of 48 to 72 hours to now go to UK, which is in, I think, UK Channel Islands, and they'll be playing in Jersey, playing the final round of our qualifying tournament in 50 hours, and they'll be playing the same teams that they've played in Uganda, but now the host is Jersey. So cricket is slowly becoming like football, where there are many multiple international, interregional competitions, but as you said, in different formats. So right now, 50 hours, then we move to T20.
It's good to see that Bermuda is getting back on that international stage, especially after the pandemic and so on. But speaking of that, on the local cricket scene, Baylor's Bay have hired an international cricket legend in Gus Logie. What does this mean for local cricket?
Well, first of all, Sir Gus Logie.
Sir, my apologies.
Sir Gus Logie, because with him we were able, I think it wasn't about qualifying, but he took us to the World Cup, and we actually were in the World Cup. So everyone that was a part of that, we say hats off. And simply said, as a coach in football, and you're a coach as well, Jamal, we always say the best coaches have to work with the players, right? So, our better coaches, we always try to put them with the younger players, grassroots. But in Bermuda, our grassroots players are really our senior man's players, because 99% don't play internationally. But when we leave Bermuda, we're competing against semi-pro or professional players. And no one cares if it's Chris Gale or not. When you have on that Bermuda shirt and Chris Gale is the one at the other end and he hits you for a 6, no one says, well, he's a professional. It's like he hit you for a 6. So to have one of the most available coaches in our region, actually knowing our culture and having coached at various levels in Bermuda and done some consultancy for the cricket board, now go to a club, that means all the other clubs have to raise their level. So Jamal, I'm going to give you some props, similar to Kenny Thompson. I'm going to North Village coming back and setting a new standard in football. Look what it's done for Bermuda for 20 years going on. So hopefully Gus Logie can raise the bar by doing it at Baylor's Bay, and all the other clubs are going to say, hey, we have to raise our domestic competitive level and organizational skills, which only means the clubs are going to be better, which only means the limited time that our national coaches have with our elite players, maybe 3-4 hours a week because they're working and with their clubs, it's going to make Bermuda cricket better over hopefully a long term period of time, but hopefully in the immediate short term as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I stunned them by saying North Village. So,
No. Baylor's Bay and Village, my 2 red and white teams.
We're about to have so many conversations after this. I've learned so much about you, Jamal.
he paid me for that. You can pay me.
But of course, my question is, I have Maddox who is asking to play cricket, and I'm just like, okay, you do everything, but now we're putting cricket in the list. How do we get into, tell us about the youth cricket coming up for the season, and how do we get involved?
Okay, so youth cricket has already started, and I must say this is one of our most challenging areas, not because people are not interested in youth cricket. We have to be honest that the COVID-19 limited the playing of sports in schools and even at clubs. Football is one of the most popular sports in the world, and definitely the most popular sport in Bermuda. And due to the delay with the COVID-19 pandemic of at least a year and a half, once football came back, football seemed to grab up everyone. So, with cricket coming back on board after that, because there was senior cricket, but no youth cricket being allowed, we're now back. But we've had to grab those players who the clubs are now like, hey, you know what? So working together, we're getting there, but it's a challenge for us, but we're actually going to make it work. But for youth cricket, the best way is just like your football clubs, Western Stars, Devonshire Rack, PAT, to contact your club, but easily contact the cricket board, and we can advise you which clubs are actually facilitating teams this year. We have a mandate through ICC. We just had a meeting that we're going to definitely look to grow youth cricket, but this year, if we can just sustain playing, I think next year will be very robust. So simply say, contact the Bermuda Cricket Board 292-8958 or info@cricket.bm, and we will guide you to those teams that are facilitating youth cricket this year. But we look to increase that by 2-fold next year with more clubs bringing youth teams online. Football is the most popular sport, but we believe that every club should at least try to have at least a youth team at maybe the under 8, under 11 level. Without youth, there is no senior sports in Bermuda.
With that being said, what is being done to improve the state of the game overall, inclusive of officiating and those sorts of things?
Okay. It seemed like you were in one of our meetings this week. We had the ICC International regional representative in Bermuda, Ms. Farah Gossi. She is similar to a FIFA rep that will come to the island to discuss football with David Sabir. She met with stakeholders, the president, myself, and committee chairs. We got a report, which, it was a good report, but it was also a report to say we need to do much better. And one of her mandates was to say we need to grow participation and we need to grow youth development. And that's what we're going to do. So right now we're looking to sustain what we have with the intent to enhancing it. So early next week, you will see on our website, which will indicate that ICC has now launched a global education and training platform from youth coaching to umpiring to curating, which means groundsman or field preparation. All of those things will be online by the next quarter. So that will be hopefully by the end of October, everything, but the coaching is already set up. And anyone can go online anywhere in the world, but we're speaking about Bermuda, from the beginners group to the elite side. You can go online and get your coaching qualifications theoretically. And then Mr. Arnold Mendes and Mr. Alan Douglas, our senior elite coaches in Bermuda, they will then do the practical assessment. So Cal Blankendal, that's not a cricket coach, I can go there and, as Jamal will know, get my football D license, which is the foundation level in cricket. Just a parent wanted to help their son or daughter, and then you move up the line as you progress. And this is all now, of course, in a global online world. You don't have to travel to the US or West Indies to do it now. You can do it in Bermuda all the way through, and then you have local assessors that can do it to a certain extent. And when you get to your final level, like a UEFA B in football or a level 2 or level 3 in cricket, you may need to go to the West Indies or the USA so that you have an external assessor that views you and says, okay, you are ready for international competition. And I'm using a lot of football because we have a lot of football coaches, not a lot of cricket coaches. So there's persons in those clubs like Jamal that loves both sports. Hey, I did an under-8 season. My nephew's coming up. I may just want to show him how to hold a cricket bat. I'm going to do the foundation level, and now I'm multitasked in both sports, and I can give back to Bermuda at any time I see fit, because it's all volunteerism in Bermuda at the grassroots level. And we have to thank the parents for us that support, and persons like Jamal that will come out at North Village and help his club try to beat my club at certain times.
Indeed, and let's be honest, this man's a sportsman, so he even lent a hand to my club at one point in time. But if you have any questions or comments for Cal, please just shoot them by, and I'll try to get through them. But I want to go back to the point I was trying to make about the 2020 earlier. In my opinion, 2020 format has been a savior for cricket. It has been a savior for cricket because it's in layman terms, cup match is open, meaning you can play all day, doesn't have to be a winner. 2020, it leads to excitement. Team, you got to make quick runs. It's more of a chance of wickets. It's just a faster game. I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, the 2020 format started with Alan Stanford. The sponsorship of him, not started, but became popular, was popularized with Alan Stanford in the Caribbean. That went up in flames. They still have a lot of the stadiums. If you visited Antigua or St. Lucia, different islands around the Caribbean, you see some of the stadiums that were purpose-built for that. Do you believe, even though we're talking probably 15 years ago, do you still believe that is the way forward for cricket to really get people's interest back out? Or are we still stuck with 50 overs, 1 days, or open cricket? What is the best way forward, in your opinion, from this position?
Okay. In my opinion, I will be frank. I believe the future is the short version of cricket, which will be anything as the world keeps changing from T20 to T10. That's what I see, because we are moving into a North American market where people want to see a lot of runs, quick games, enjoyment, go back home and do something else. And when you look at sponsorship, Jamal, as you would know, whoever pays for the event is the one that actually manages what happens. That's even in FIFA. You're going to have the World Cup, but you have all these other tournaments now because sponsors want to see more activity and they can leverage their brand and make money out of it. In Bermuda, the nostalgia is 50 overs because that is our success. And if you look at where we've gone to the World Cup, you can't take history away from us. But the way the ICC has set up these tournaments going forward now, it's very difficult for us to qualify again because there's no direct qualification. In 50 overs, we have to play so many sub-regional tournaments. And even when we get there, it's almost like CONCACAF. And again, I'm using football again. If we were to qualify out of CONCACAF as maybe 4th or 5th place, we may still have to play the winner from Middle East or Asia, which could be New Zealand or someone else, to qualify, which is difficult. In T20, we have mostly 5 teams in the final round, and Bermuda has been in the final rounds at all times for at least the last 20 years. Historically, it's the USA and Canada as our main competitors. Two teams actually go to the sub-regional qualifier, but this time, Bermuda, and we need you to support us, government, sponsors, the West Indies Cricket Board and the United States Cricket Association are going to host a T20 World Cup in 2024, which means that the hosts get automatic qualifications, West Indies, of course, and the United States in our region, Americas. That means Bermuda now has to compete against the Canada, Cayman, Argentina, Bermuda. Traditionally, anything can happen in sports, Jamal. You know, sometimes you think you're going to make it to the final and you don't. But there's traditionally going to be our main competitors. If we come first, probably against 3 other main competitors, we go directly to the World Cup. So we don't have that qualifying round now. So we need to come first out of that group, and we will go to the World Cup, a proper World Cup, the first time in T20. So first of all, we now need to complete our 50 over obligations with ICC, but then everything, in my opinion, as the executive director, we need to focus on T20 because that can revitalize the game across the board. Government sponsorship, young people want to go to the World Cup, more youth want to play, families want to come to the game, and put Bermuda on the map for international sports tourism and even a financial jurisdiction. Because when you go to the World Cup, all of that airtime is free. No one has to pay to say, hey, Bermuda's only 2 hours from New York, Bermuda's only 3 hours from Florida. So, you know, we have to do it. So again, when I say this, I'm not talking about cricket, Jamal. I'm talking about if we're going to do it, where is Bermuda Inc., which falls on my lap to make that presentation with the president and other stakeholders around the table. What about, I'm just saying Linders, right there, Linders sponsoring Mr. Malachi Jones or Mr. Delray Rollins to prepare for this qualifying round. Doesn't mean that we're going to get there, but we're going to do the best. They're going to take up their employee wage for 4 months. And they're going to put $25,000, and they are the Malachi Jones sponsors for 4 months. So we can take this team and coaches and say, you know what, we're going to be semi-pro. We're going to be semi-pro. Doesn't mean we're going to do it, but we're going to have a realistic preparation, which we never really do good in Bermuda because I work in construction. I have to go home. I have to take care of my parents, my family. The country still expects me to go out there and put on the shirt and win. But the other teams out there are actually taking time off from work, going to India, Australia. So as much as I'm saying this, Jamal, and I'm not letting you speak, I want Bermuda to hear, and you are very influential. Where is the corporate community if we make a pitch that will pick up a player's tab for 4 or 5 months, put your name behind Bermuda and help not the cricket board, Bermuda go to the World Cup? We're the only sport that full national sport that's going to the World Cup. I'm a football guy in heart, but I work for the Bermuda Cricket Board and I enjoy it. And we're the only sport that's been to the World Cup twice. So why don't we try to repeat?
What more do you need to do to get the? Well, I'm gonna say this, and I like picking on the IB sector because many have been on this show, and they're $4 billion flowing through that sector on any given day. So I think it's a proven sport, and as the president of Somerset Cricket Club often says, it's the gentleman's game. I see no. I don't see what's stopping it, but I'd like to have another side conversation with you about that. That said, Kyle, we're out of time. But just before you go, when can people expect cricket season to get going?
Okay, so cricket season domestically will start this weekend. Schedule should be flowing out later today. The reason why the schedule hasn't come out, the Bermuda Cricket Board puts the schedule together, but the fields are provided by the host ground operators, and when they say the ground may or may not be ready, we're unable to put out the schedule. There's no wrong and right on both sides. We're both working together because we're a membership organization. As soon as we have those final details, we'll put the schedule out, and we just want people to come out and support. But outside of the domestic game, Bermuda, if we work together to try to get us to a World Cup, I'm not saying we're going to get there. We can brand Bermuda internationally. We can help our young man. We can revitalize the game. We can take people off the street and put them into some good activities, lifestyle changes. And Jamal, as you said, it's really for the Bermuda Cricket Board to make the proper pitch, but the pitch is going to be made because we know the money's there. It's just the will and the intent of those who have the money to say that they want to do it or not. And that's all it is.
Calvin Blackendell, Bermuda Cricket Board, thank you so much. Don't worry, it's a long season. We definitely want to have you back. A lot more to discuss. So appreciate you. And I do hope that the corporate community gets behind what you all are doing. I know when it comes to Cup Match, which is totally separate in terms of who handles it, there's money that flows, probably still not enough, but I think you're absolutely correct in saying that. So we'll do what we can to make sure that we're continuing to push out the positives that Bermuda Cricket Board is doing, not just from a sporting perspective, but for our young people in our community. We'll be in touch. Have a great one, Cal.
Thank you. And one thing, next time, ask me some difficult questions. I'm ready for you. Come on.
You must know me well.
Invite me back or someone else from the cricket board, but put those difficult questions.
Hold on. What we do is we try to smooth you in. We don't
okay.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Yeah. And then when you come back, all right. No. Thanks so much, brother. We'll be in touch.
Take care.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. If you appreciated that conversation with Mr. Blankendal, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these community conversations, folks. Speak about them around the water cooler, important conversations that benefit our community. Quick break. We're going to come back, daily play, wrap it up. Sancha, you'll do well. You'll do well. If you all get it before Sancha, somebody's going home with a gift, but I think Sancha's got it this morning. Stick with us.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security. There's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
Dexter Smith saying, be careful what you ask for. Very difficult questions, Cal. Indeed, Mr. Editor. Thanks again to Medical House, One Communications, People Psalms Islanders for ensuring we're able to do this on a daily basis. For you, Central Durham, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour. Thanks again to Cal Blackendell. If you appreciate that conversation, don't forget, give us a thumbs up, love a like. Time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Heineken 0.0. Great taste, no alcohol. Central, are you ready?
I have no choice.
All right, she is ready. All right, it's music today. What song do these lyrics belong to? Quote, standing in the front yard telling me how I'm such a fool, talking about how I'll never find a man like you. You got me twisted.
What's his name? Let me twist it. I never do. I know the song. Dreadlock. What's his name? Oh God. I know this, Jamal. I do know
the artist, but they didn't get the song.
What is his name? And he does all of the.
It's not a he.
Oh, I didn't get it. No.
Irreplaceable. Standing in the front yard telling me how I'm such a fool. Talking about how I'll never find a man like you.
Like you.
You got me twisted. You must not know about me. Yeah. I'm shocked the audience got it like that. I don't think it was that easy. I thought it was, you all are good. They're good at this.
Maybe you should have sang it for me.
Yeah, I you know what? I should have gave you the tune.
You should
I'm
have.
gonna give you the tune next time. I'm gonna give you the tune.
There we go.
But Sherry didn't get it because I was waiting for her to put, come on, Sancha, I'm got it, Sancha. You know how she.
Sherry didn't get it. Maybe she messaged it.
No, because she would have put. She said, Sancha, you got this earlier. She didn't say nothing.
She probably messaged my phone. You don't know that. My lost phone.
All right, cheaters. Final thoughts on today's show. What you got for us
today? I enjoyed the talk about cricket. I am actually looking forward to cricket season starting. I need to find a team. I don't have a team. I know nothing about cricket, but I am committed to finding a team and being present at these games. I'm excited about it. I learned a whole lot.
I can direct you to a team.
Who's your team, Jamal?
Bayless Bay. What you mean?
I can't do that. That's too far for me.
What? Bayless Bay players go all the way up Somerset to help you all win the cup. There's nothing stopping you from going east.
What did you say, to help us do what?
Win the cup.
Which we do every year, right? You just admitted it. Sherry, did you hear that? He admitted it. Okay. So no, but still, I can't do that. So I need to know I don't even know what teams are out there. So if you can direct me to any sort of Western teams so I can choose a team, that would be great. I did the red flag conversation has me thinking, definitely, how I should operate moving forward, even when I'm writing job descriptions and what's necessary. And Relay for Life, can we please have it for 24 hours next year?
24 hours, folks. She won 24 hours.
I enjoyed myself so much. And when I was ready to go there and kick back in again, it was over.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this much. I think the Relay for Life is a great event. I think I enjoy seeing people there honoring not just the fallen, but those who have survived and are living, and whatever we can do to give them a sense of comfort. I appreciate it. Like I said, I was supposed to be present, but COVID had different ideas. Cricket is always a good conversation. It's a long conversation, as long as the game, and a lot more questions to ask. Behavior of players has come up, things of that nature. So I'm looking forward to not only cricket season, but having more conversations to figure out how we can get cricket in that space where people are attracted to want to sponsor it and get behind it. You got some daily inspiration for us, Sandra?
Daily inspiration. So today we're going to talk about days of the year, right? International. Pardon?
We forgot days of the year.
Yeah, so not daily inspiration, days of the year. I'm letting you know what that is. Today is International Museum Day. Visit a local museum and learn about anything from the art to ancient history to aerospace. Many museums also offer virtual tours online if you can get that. So I think that's something we should do today.
Museum. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Shanta is a big fan of museums. So Shanta's the one that helps put together the guests for the show. What's some daily inspiration for us?
Daily inspiration for us today. You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. And that's from Maya Angelou.
I love it. We've had a Maya week. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sandra Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and great day. I have a mug and she still does not. I love this game.